Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For the past 7 years and since President Abdel Fattah Sisi took office, the Egyptian women have achieved a lot in so many fields: political, social, economic, cultural, and even constitutional. That was manifested in the year 2017 when President Abdel Fattah Sisi declared the year 2017 as the year of the Egyptian woman. And of course, Egypt celebrates Egyptian women every year, and we are actually having a lot of ambitions when it comes to the empowerment of Egyptian women. We're very much delighted and honored to have with us here in the studio Mrs. Lamia El Khouli, a feminist author and digital content writer, to tell us about how Egyptian women have achieved a lot in the past years and what are the expectations in the coming years. Thank you very much, Lamia, for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, to start with, the political will here in Egypt allowed women to make so many achievements on various levels. How do you see that as a feminist author?
We have now seen a lot of manifestations for the initiative that His Excellency President Abdel Fattah Sisi has spoken about within the vision of Egypt 2030. We now see lots of manifestations in various sectors and various aspects of life. We've seen the numbers of women who are representing Egyptian women in the parliament and the Senate, in the ministries, and recently also in courts. We have judges for the first time ever. I think we see the impact everywhere and every day. There is also lots of increased laws that are enforced to assist women live a happy and safe life in Egypt. So we can all witness that these are changes that are only manifesting during those past years and the years to come.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we talk about each aspect separately, let's talk about women in parliament, for example, and the representation of women in parliament, how that increased throughout the past years.
I've read recently that we had like a 25% rise in the seats that were offered for women to represent Egyptian women in the parliament and give them the voice to express their issues and concerns. So I believe this is a huge step forward. Before we did not have that opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
The political empowerment of women and how that was reflected in the participation of women and the number of women participating in political events and elections in the past years.
We've seen a lot of efforts done as well by the Women's Council, who are always on top of all the events that are taking place concerning women. And they are always commenting and raising the voice whenever there is a need to speak about a pending issue or something that is very significant to the health and the well-being of women. So this is really impressive. Yeah.
Yes, if we talk about health, this is a very important issue. Thank you for raising it, because there have been campaigns for women, for their health, and encouraging women to go and examine themselves, and providing even mobile clinics for women in rural areas. How do you see that?
I was really excited about seeing all these initiatives the past few years. Like I personally went through one of these that were placed in one of the social clubs in Cairo. So it's really amazing to be able to do all these tests and exams to check your health just for free.
Yes.
This shows how His Excellency President El-Sisi is keen about seeing for the well-being of women and how to detect, for example, early symptoms of cancer and start treatments. And we see the impact of all these efforts everywhere, which is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, since you mentioned that those campaigns for women were coupled with awareness campaigns also for them to go, and those campaigns were concentrated and focused for women and encouraging them to go and to examine themselves for free, and how the Egyptian woman's health matters to her family, to the society at large. So the awareness campaigns were as equally as important as the campaign, the health campaign itself.
Definitely, it's very hard to, start to erase years of problematic issues for women. So to start to build up on something that you need to clean up first, and to, unlearn lots of like habits that are not beneficial to women. So I don't think that we have ever raised the issue of seeing to women's health before.
Yes.
Like, this is the first time ever as well. Like, sometimes you speak to a woman and you ask her if she's ever tested herself or went for a checkup, or women tend to forget
Especially
themselves.
that it's expensive as well.
Exactly, and they tend to forget, this, like the circle of life, the cycle of the daily duties and everything. Women tend to forget themselves. So with the campaigns, you get to remind them, to raise awareness, to tell
and
them,
to make them feel important, that
Exactly.
they matter to the society.
Of course, of course. And I think this is a great initiative that was neglected before.
Yes.
Yeah.
The government also partnered with the civil society and the private sector in so many campaigns, especially when it comes to the empowerment of women as part of Egypt's Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs 2030. And having the civil society as a partner in this regard actually helped a lot, because the civil society was already involved in the problems of the citizens, especially youth, children and women. How do you see that?
Now we have raised awareness about so many issues that we used to ignore in the past. A lot of like digital platforms and social media platforms are now pushing for educating women and teaching them about everything concerning, for example, harassment, the education they are receiving for issues like circumcision, when families had no idea until it was criminalized, and the laws and the penalties were increased in recent years. So speaking up in civil society about the issues or the hidden issues that we tend to, look away from is significantly important when it is resolved and when it is addressed. So at the moment we see that everywhere. You have platforms, you have women speaking up, you have social media pages that are targeting and focusing on women's issues, which is fantastic, to give the room for the civil society to speak up and to partner with the government in their issues and their efforts is definitely a great move.
Yes.
Yeah.
The economic empowerment also of women, and particularly encouraging small and medium enterprises.
Yes.
The government played a very important role in this regard, in encouraging women to start their own business and providing mentors and partnering with the private sector in this regard.
Yes, I've personally attended several, events where women are supported by the government and like Rotaries and clubs. They give them the space to, or the platforms to sell their products or to promote their small projects. A lot of women don't have, this kind of accessibility to the customers or to the people. So this is really very efficient, in assisting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a feminist author, what do you write about in your content when it comes to all these issues?
Well, I'm personally very interested in all the issues that face women locally and globally. Like I always like to touch on the universal aspects of the struggle that women go through, whether in our region or abroad. Like women are not happy everywhere, unfortunately. So I like to speak up about you know, like domestic issues, the relationships between men and women, how society treats women, where can we assist little girls, and how can we assist little girls to avoid having them go through the same issues that older generations had to face. So such stories interest me. And, yeah.
And have you wrote about the development of the developmental process and how women were in the past years and where do they stand now, and what are their aspirations and ambitions for the coming years?
Well, I've recently finished a novel that is called El Nashes, and by actually choosing that title, I meant to shake the society. You know, I wanted to have them see that a lot of women suffer and they go through, you know, the label of being disobedient or being
like
the one to
vagabonds.
blame. Yeah, the one to blame for everything. So I like to focus on the growth of the characters, the women characters. How do they manifest their powers with other characters that they have to deal with, and how do they grow and evolve at the end? And through this, you know, like through these details, I show the reader that women are strong and they are capable of doing anything. Yeah.
What are your ambitions for women, to put it
Well,
briefly?
I really hope that everything that we saw listed on the Vision 2030 for empowering women come to life. I would really love to see everything that President El-Sisi is pushing for gets manifested in real life. Like we want to bridge the gender gap. We want to overcome inequality. We want to give women equal opportunities when it comes to work, when it comes to freedom of choice, whether to work or get married or have kids. We need to educate our society that women have the right to choose.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
what to do with their lives. They don't have to keep pushing them towards an end that destroys, you know, years of their youth and time that they can be productive.
Yes.
And then everything will eventually fall in place.
Yes.
Like we need to stop women from getting married at early age, even young men as well, because we are facing a society, our society now is facing a huge number of broken marriages, you know, like kids who don't have support. We don't have people who are ready, you know, enough or prepared enough for going through these experiences. So.
Yes, I'd like to thank you very much, Lamia El-Khouli, feminist author and digital content writer. Thank you very much for being with us today.
It's a pleasure, Hala. Thank you very much.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us in this edition of Women's World. I'm Hala Al-Hamalawi signing off for now, but stay tuned for more coming up here on LTV International.